hope you've had a really nice Christmas and a Happy New Year. Today I wanted to show you and share some of my favorite experiences from 2024. I'm in my family's house in Bergen, Norway, and as you might be able to tell, I'm in Santa's workshop. This is my mom's sewing room right behind me. So I've just found myself a little space in here to get my computer down, and I've started editing my favorite moments from 2024. Sometimes it's only when I look back through the year that I realize all the incredible things that I've seen and done. So in this video I want to share some of my favorite moments in nature from 2024 as a professional wildlife photographer. The year started really cold. All of Norway was hit by a cold spell from the east just as we were about to drive from Stavanger in the south to Dovre quite a bit further north. So we were facing a 13-hour journey by car, which actually ended up taking 17 hours with a truck standing by the side of the road. They couldn't get up this small hill just outside of Oslo. Starting the year, staying in a cabin at Dovre, and spending our time during the day walking in the snow, looking for the muskox. And I have to say, 2024, we got some amazing experience with the muskox. We had the iconic snow at the mountain in the background for one day, and another day we had some incredibly nice backlit for the muskox. Such a great way to start the year photographing wildlife with friends. Back in the UK, I got an assignment from OM System. They wanted a video on winter tips for photographing birds. So it wasn't really much snow around me in Perthshire at that time of year, so I headed for one of my favorite places, the Cairngorms National Park, to basically get that feeling of more of a wintry landscape so I could film the video. And I also thought it'd be kind of interesting if I went looking for an iconic winter species, the ptarmigan. Now, one of my resolutions as well for 2024 was to sleep more outside. So I brought with me my new down sleeping bag, my tent, and I headed up for basically a little bit higher than where the snow started in the Cairngorms to do a camp. And then early next morning, I had coffee at the window, just watching the views, and then headed out to look for the ptarmigan and film the video. In February, I got to experience one of my dream destinations that I've had since I was a kid. I remember seeing nature documentaries of this place as a kid, and it's always stuck with me. So I got the invite the year before to go to the Singing Grass camp in the heart of the Serengeti. An amazing experience, and I was absolutely blown away by the biodiversity in the Serengeti. I got to stay at a luxury camp, and every day we headed out early in the morning to catch the animals in the first bit of light, and spent the rest of the day driving around, seeing one more amazing spectacle after the other. If you want to join me on an amazing trip to the Serengeti, I'm running trips both in August and November, so check out my website for more details and get in touch if you want to come with. Last year I started to use PhotoLab 8 as part of my workflow for most of my images. One of the great things about PhotoLab 8 is that the features of Pure Raw is built into it. You can get powerful denoising benefits directly through PhotoLab 8. PhotoLab 8 can be used as a standalone post-processing software, and it's got a ton of good reviews as a powerful raw editor. It also works seamlessly with Lightroom. From Lightroom, go File, Plugin Extra, and transfer to DxO PhotoLab 8. One of my favorite things about PhotoLab 8 is that I can automatically apply camera and lens corrections. It also speeds up my editing by applying DxO Smart Lighting and Clearview Plus. As you can see, as soon as the photo is open in PhotoLab 8, it already looks significantly better. Editing your image in PhotoLab 8 is intuitive, and you can find the tools by going through the top panel on the right. Now when it comes to denoising, you can choose between high quality, prime, D prime, and D prime XD, XD2S. Use the loop tool to see part of the image at 100% and you can see the effects of the denoising. I use the quick export button to get back to Lightroom. You can use the link in the description to try it out for 30 days, and if you want to buy it, use the discount code below for 15% off. Now, working as a professional wildlife photographer, April has become one of the busiest months of the year for me. This is when I do a lot of photo trips. I take people out to the hills near me where I live in Perthshire to photograph the black grouse lek. At the end of the month, I have to set my alarm for something like 2:30 in the morning. So it can get kind of tiring. I absolutely love it, and it's so nice to meet all the people that are coming there and seeing their experience, for especially if it's their first time photographing the lek. After April, I'm quite tired and I'm looking for a holiday. So in 2024, my friend Barry from uni, he was actually up from Australia where he studies humpback whales. We met up and we went to Rathlin, which is this island off the coast of Northern Ireland. And with bikes, we explored the island for wildlife. He had his camera with him as well. So it turned into a bit of a wildlife photography thing anyway, but it definitely wasn't work. You know, we didn't get up at crack of dawn. We just cycled around, found some of the wildlife, did a bit of photography. I just enjoyed the time there, and at the end of the day, we'd always end up at the pub and have a few pints of Guinness. Now, the year before, I had started reading about the bird life on Hardangervidda. It is the largest national park in Norway. Most of the plateau is over 1,000 meters, and the season for birds there is very short. So in the early June is basically like a very short window of spring up there. And that was my plan. I went back to Norway, visited family for a short bit of time, and then I headed to Hardangervidda to do a camp. I camped up there for 3 days to look for some of the bird species that are really adapted to this kind of environment. I barely saw any other people, and it was just me, the wildlife. I can take everything in my own time. Absolutely loved it. I filmed loads, and I will be getting around to editing and showing that soon in a video. But here's a little clip for it that you can see now. Now back in Scotland, spring was turning into summer, but I got lucky and I found a great spot of woodpecker nest in a really nice position. It wasn't too high in the tree, which meant that I could get more of an eye level with the bird. And also the background was either hills far away, or if I went a little bit further down, it could be the sky, which would be quite nice if I had some nice colorful skies. Basically what I was going for here was using Pro Capture, which is the kind of back in time feature in OM system. I'm trying to get the 2 adult woodpeckers as they fly to and from the nest. So much fun, and I dressed up in the 3D camo outfit here. And this can be quite helpful because the woodpecker is a bit sensitive to people. I also try to hide, but the 3D camo suit just allowed me more flexibility. I could stand up, so I was a little bit higher, which really helps with my kind of choosing my background, and I can also move a little bit back and forth for a better composition. In the hide, I was just a little bit too limited, and I was just stuck with the one position once I was in it. So a really nice way to just spend the last few days of spring photographing this family of woodpeckers. At the end of June, headed for Mull and the island of Lunga outside of Mull. The most amazing place to photograph puffins in Scotland. Headed for a camp there with my pal Grant. We stayed on Mull, took the boat out to Lunga. The puffin is just such an amazing bird to photograph. At that time of year is a good time to catch them as they're coming back to feed their young. So very often they'll have their beak filled with sand eels. That was the shot that we were just really wanting to get. I'll put a link to my blog up here and below in the description, and you can check out the photos there with settings and everything. Now, one of the surprise wildlife encounters of 2024 happened right outside my bedroom window. So I think it was just after 4 o'clock in the morning, and I could hear this tapping. And didn't really know what it was, but I was tired, so I kept sleeping. But after a bit more tapping, I got so curious, I just had to see. So open up the curtain, and then I know that I have bats in the attic, but I've never seen so many bats as this morning. August can be a little bit slow for birds in Scotland, but I had a client coming to visit for a week. We were going out doing some photography. He's also a Gnome system user, so we could kind of go through settings and also go find some of the species that are there. What August is great for, the hills that are filled with heather have started to bloom. So they just turn into this ocean of pink, and some places even purple colors. So in preparation for my client arriving, I spent some time exploring areas that we could visit when he arrived. I really wanted to find a good red grouse location with this colorful landscape. Now the red grouse blend in perfectly with this habitat, so the thermal monocular was actually a really good thing to be using up there. And I was very surprised at one point that I had one of the red grouse basically just 2 meters from the car, and I didn't see it until I pointed my monocular at it, and it was just bright and hot right in front of me. So one thing that's becoming more important to me is connecting with nature. Very often I go out for photography for a few hours, my head's not really in it, so I'm really forcing myself to bring a tent, and on this occasion I also brought a canoe. I paddled to an island, had a fire and a camp, and I listened to the roars of the stags in the month of October. That just set the tone for the whole experience. November, I had another assignment for system, and I actually went to Doñana National Park in Spain, which is a great place if it's been wet. A lot of birds will seek out this area. So parts of the area was wet when I was there, and I got to see some amazing species like the spoonbills, flamingos, and a lot of other wader species. So those have been my highlights as a wildlife photographer in 2024. I hope you've had a fantastic year, 2024, and I wish you all the best for 2025. And please leave me a comment and let me know, what is the one wildlife experience that you look forward to in 2025. Thank you so much for watching.